Good morning. Good morning, beloveds. So, since it was 59 degrees when I was ready to go out, I opted to try a walk today. I managed a mile, and I know I use Thomas's support a lot, but I was able to walk a mile. So, hey, it's that whole thing of learning new normals. Yeah, that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. So I'm debating about the orthopedic, because I have to call the orthopedic and say, okay, I need to come see you, but here's what you're dealing with. Can you deal with this? And if the orthopedic says yes, then great, fine, we're set to go. And if the orthopedic says no, then I have to find a new orthopedic. So, because I know what part of the problem is. Yeah, okay, but that's where it is. It is October 9th, and it is our 23rd wedding anniversary. My partner and I have been together for much longer than that. We actually met in 1992, but we got married in 99. So, and we got married today at the Texas Renaissance Festival 24 years ago. So, and as I was putting in the date to do this is when I yelled and I went, "Hey, Tom, happy anniversary." And he went, "Oh yeah." Cause we always kind of lose our anniversary in the opening affair, even though neither of us went to the opening weekend. So it still kind of gets lost in all the October stuff. The only tip I would give you, if you, enjoy the Texas Renaissance Festival and, all the other stuff that goes on in October, may not be the best choice to get married, because your anniversary will disappear into it. But, it is what it is. So, all right. It is October 9th, as I said. Our title is The Finisher, which sounds like a wrestling move. So I'm looking forward to this one. And our author is Lillian DeWaters. And this is from The Christ Within, 1926. All right. So, October 9th, The Finisher. Are we finishers of ourselves, or have we had a finisher? Without the finisher, ye can do nothing. Without the Spirit of Christ within us, our efforts, no matter how strenuous or how supreme, are built upon self as power and understanding, and will end up in disappointment and failure. When we stand upon our own ideas and opinions, what does it amount to? They change from day to day. When we stand upon the systems and principles of others, what permanent value are these? Theories come and go, rise and fall. Then, upon what shall we stand? Stand on the rock that is Christ. 1 Corinthians 10:4. The same yesterday, today, and forever. While it is true that Jesus Christ is our way, our door, our finisher, there is an individual work for us to do. For if we do not accept God as the way, the finisher, the work that Spirit did for us is not benefiting us. That is, we are not experiencing the good that is prepared for us. The finished kingdom is here, yet all are not appropriating it or experiencing it. Our part in life is to lift our vision, behold and accept the path that is already made for us, and walk that path. We are to take and enjoy the great good already prepared, and to cease trying to cut new paths and create new ways. Let us work out or express that which we already possess, that which we already are. All right, Miss Lillian DeWaters. Okay, that last paragraph kind of smacks of destiny, fate, but it's not. It's not. But when I was reading this, what I was reminded of is one of the things that Ernest Holmes says: principle is not bound by precedent. And it also reminds me of that tenet of our faith, which we say, thy will be done, not my will, but thy will. Which, yes, comes out of the Christianity, and it sounds very Catholic, because, like, I'm familiar with it. And while I had a very myriad upbringing, I was raised mostly Catholic. My parents would let anybody take us to church. If anybody offered to take us to church, they were like, sure, you can go to church with them. Go ahead. It was great. So I had a great, wide-ranging religious education. So principle is not bound by precedent. And that's because we can do things all day long, and but just because we're doing them, if we're not doing them from principle, just because it's been happening this way up to this point, we can change our minds, and, principle is not bound by precedent. So what she's reminding us is that whatever it is that we want to do, that we're not doing it on our own. Okay. I would say almost to the point she's saying you can't do it on your own. Okay. And the rationale behind that, and there is a logical rationale behind why she's saying you can't do it on your own, because the power that you're using to do it isn't yours. It comes from an infinite source. But what she's saying is, when we try to do things on our own, then we have a tendency to miss things that a source bigger than us wouldn't miss, which is why we get to choose what, not how. Okay. So that's Lillian's argument, is that it's like, whatever it is that you want, ask for. Do the work that is yours to do, but understand that in the end, it's going to be finished by something bigger than you. Which I'm going to come back to the how. When we try and do things ourselves, when we do what I like to call white knuckle, it's like we're holding on so tight that our knuckles are white. When we white knuckle things, then we are so focused on, and our focus is very, very narrow. Okay. So we're going to miss things. That's just the way it is. The material world is kind of chaotic and messy. And when we white knuckle things, we miss things. So when we are willing to do the work that is ours to do, to get whatever it is that we are after, but then also to accept that the end, as she calls it, the finisher, isn't ours to do. The how isn't ours to do. What we do is we go to Spirit, we say, this is what I want. Okay? Within reason and within alignment of the good. And then the how is managed around us. And it's managed around us by something that is so much bigger than us. Something that can see all of the infinite possibilities and find the best way to bring whatever it is that we want to us. We don't have to white knuckle that. And but what we do have to do is be open and willing to be guided to the work that we need to do that will bring us what we want. Okay? So, you see what I'm saying? Principle is not bound by precedent. Why? I think that last paragraph where she gets off into it does sound a lot like destiny and fate. Why are we trying to cut new paths? I would argue, why are we trying to reinvent the wheel? It's like Spirit's got all of these infinite ways to do it that are probably much better than anything we would come up with anyway. So why not? And it doesn't matter what it is. People think, oh, well, I can only go to God for these certain. No, you can go to God for anything. You can go to God for absolutely anything. Okay. And God will say yes, as long as it is in alignment with God, and which is frequently why we get things that we get him and we were like, oh, I didn't think this isn't what I wanted. It's like, well, you weren't specific. It's like, or you ask for something that you were told you wanted, but when you got it, you're like, oh no, this is not really what I want. Okay? So it behooves you to do your own work, to make your own choices, to decide what it is that you actually want before you go to Spirit and say, this is what I want. So, but, okay, I think that's what I'm talking about. Because she does that whole argument. When we stand upon our own ideas and opinions, what does it amount to? They change from day to day. And that's what she's saying. So when God never changes. God never changes. That's why when we want to do something, we want to go to God and say, this is what I want. All right. This is what I want. She says the same thing. When we stand upon the systems and opinions of others, what permanent value of thee? And that's where I said principle is not bound by precedent, because that's when we stand upon the systems and opinions of others. Principle is not bound by precedent. So just because the system is set up this way doesn't mean it has to work that way. Because there's a whole lot of systems that are set up that really shouldn't work the way that they do, because they're not beneficial to everybody involved in the system. Well, principle is beneficial to everybody bound in the system. So that's why she's saying, this is one of those situations. Don't stand upon the systems and operations that you see in. Go back to the way God would do it. Theories come and go, rise and fall. When we learn new information, theories change. All right. Then what shall we stand on? Stand on the rock that is Christ. I say it, and I say it often enough that you've heard it before. The Christ consciousness is like it's factory installed software. It is factory installed. You come pre-installed with the Christ consciousness. It's part of it. It was built into you. It was built into you. It was built into absolutely every living being out here. Okay. It's built into every living being that ever existed and ever will exist. We just all call it different things. We all have different languages for it, different words for it. And we just have to let go of being caught up in the words, and understand everybody's got it. We just all call it different things. That's what we want to go back to. Always, always, always. You already have it. And I like to remind you, and every single religion out there will tell you, you want to activate what we call the Christ consciousness. The password is love. Every single religion will tell you that. Go back and look at the golden rule. Every religion will tell you that. Okay. And then she has this brief part where she says, the work that God did for us is not benefiting us. That is, we are not experiencing the good that is prepared for us. We are not paying attention. Okay. And that's why I said, we have to go to God and say, this is what I want. And then we have to be guided to the work that is ours to do. Okay. So your good is already prepared. Whatever good it is that you want already exists. What you have to be doing, what you have to be willing to do is to listen. That's why we have to ask for things. Okay. We have to ask for things to signal our willingness to listen to the guidance that will get us there. Boom. The finisher. No, the finisher is to make sure that whatever it is that you are doing, go to God. Always. The first place. And that's tantamount to when you go into practitioner training, what they say is the first place you go in whatever it is that you are doing, you go to God first. You go to Spirit first. Whatever you want to call it. God, Spirit, Universe, Atman. That's where you go first. No matter what undertaking you do. You go to God first. Because God is the ultimate power, the ultimate finisher. So you go to God and you say, this is what I would like to do. This is the good that I want to experience. This is the good I want to experience. And God will say to you, all right, these are the steps that you take to get there. If you are not experiencing the good that you want in your life, I have two questions for you. Have you gone to God and asked? And then are you listening for the steps to take for the work that is yours to do to get the good. Those are the two. And that is what Lillian is telling us. You don't have to cut a new path. The path is already prepared for you. What you have to do is listen for the instructions on which way to turn on the path. Because there's going to be many paths. Yes, absolutely. There are many paths. There are as many paths to anything in this world as there are people. So you have to go to God and say, this is the good I want to experience. And then you have to listen when the path moves, when the path changes. You have to be willing to take the guidance that says, all right, this is the good you want, then I need you to turn here and, angle this way to experience your good. Those are the two questions. All right, Lillian, I think that was a little messy, but I think I got it. The finisher. I just like the title. All right, that's Lillian DeWaters. I commend her to you. I think this is amazing. I really enjoyed this one. So the mission today, should we choose to expect it? That last sentence. Let us work out or express that which we already possess, that which we already are. All right. If you are not experiencing the good that you want to experience, this is the mission today. Should we choose to accept the mission? You're not experiencing the good that you want. Ask yourself, have you taken it to God? And are you listening for the instructions from God for the work that is yours to do? Okay. Anytime you come up against work, you should always ask yourself, is this mine to do? Because a lot of times you're going to come up against work that isn't yours to do. Maybe you have a part of work in there to do, but it's not all yours to do. So, all right. So that's the mission today. Should you choose to accept it? Ask yourself those two questions if you are not experiencing the good you want. Have I taken what I want? Have I taken the good I want to God? And am I listening for the instructions? That is the power of treatment and meditation. And it will be, when you get answers, yeah, you'll get answers in meditation, but you will also get answers when you talk to people, and you'll say something to a person, and then they'll give you a piece of information, and you go, oh, that is exactly the piece of information that I needed to get to the good. So your answers will come through other people. You'll hear random things on the radio. You'll have random things on the TV. You'll have random conversations with random people. And that's where your prayers will be answered. Okay? Just bear in mind, God uses us to answer each other's prayers. Okay? And that's why I say, when you walk into a situation, look at the work and say, is this mine to do? Part of it may be as an answer to your prayer. Part of it may be as an answer to somebody else's prayer. All right. The other mission that I give you every day, which is the spiritual practice of doing something loving for yourself, do something kind for yourself, do something compassionate for yourself. It's called the spiritual practice of self-care. It's just extremely important, especially when we're dealing with topics like this. It's like, practice love, kindness, and compassion on yourself. Because what it does is it creates a well-worn path. As she said, we don't have to cut new paths to the source of our own being. Those paths already exist. We just got to use them, and we got to make them well-worn so that we can use them when we're tired and when we're stressed out. So that's why we pray, as we like to say, pray up while things are good, so that we have that well-worn path. So no matter what's going on, we can get to the source of our own being and go, yep, here's what I need. That's why we pray up while things are good, so that when things go sideways, we know what to do. All right. So we practice on ourselves. So I say it every day, and I give you little suggestions of what you can do. And trust me, mine barely scratched the surface of all the loving, kind, and compassionate things you can do. But the point is to create a habit, so that your first response And there's a difference between a reaction and a response. That a reaction is unthinking and a response is thinking. Well, if you build that habit where you respond to things, then you take that moment, you think about it. Then you can take the most loving, kind, compassionate, and kind path if you respond. So that's why I want you to create that habit. So that even in times when you, and situations are going to happen where you are going to react, you react in a loving, kind, and compassionate way, because that is what you have taught yourself to do. You are your own best test subject. And most importantly, you deserve your own love, kindness, and compassion. So it looks like taking a walk, a nap, a break, a deep breath before you speak. That's the difference between a reaction and a response. It looks like taking a vacation. It looks like saying no to something that just really drains you. It looks like remembering that no is a complete sentence. It's interesting that my husband and I will have these conversations. And I'm like, well, why don't you explain to them? And he's like, it's none of their business. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. As a woman, I'm taught that I'm not allowed to say no without a qualifier. Here's why I can't do what you're asking me to do. Well, as a man, he's allowed to just say no. So that's why I say it. It comes in that training. And then but I also want to remind you to say yes to things that push you a little out of your comfort zone. And remember that you have your tribe, your community around you to support you when you do things that push you a little out of your comfort zone. All right. The rest of the suggestions are basic, easy ones. Do something to engage your mind and your body, whatever that looks like for you. I did mostly bike riding this summer because it was too hot to do anything else. And so today it was like, well, let's see how the walking's going. We'll see how I feel at the end of the day. And that's really that's going to be the real test. We'll see how I feel at the end of the day. And then what do I need to do from there? So that was me engaging my mind and my body. Drink plenty of water. Hydration is super important. I forgot my dry mouth lozenge and we didn't have any water on the walk, and that was not a good thing. So I got to remember, hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. Your brain works better, your body works better, your skin looks better when you're well hydrated. So just drink plenty of water. All right. And then because we did get out between that, I think we left a little after 7:30. So, in that 7 to 9 space where I got a little bit of bright sunlight on my face, 5 to 10 minutes is all it takes to reset those circadian rhythms. So, and if you get up before the sun or, after the sun, because maybe you work nights, artificial light will help. You just want 5 to 10 minutes of bright light on your face. The sunlight helps with the vitamin D in that 7 to 9 space. I don't know about the artificial light, but if you do get the seasonal affect disorder lights, I think they may help with the vitamin D. So, it's something worth looking into, especially as we're moving into the darker part of the year. All right. And then I'm going to give you my Ernest Holmes quote. Open the windows of your soul. Allow the breath of heaven to remind you, you do live in heaven right here, right now. It's all around us all the time. Lillian was talking about the rock of Christ, right? Well, when I use that Ernest Holmes quote, that's what I'm reminding you of. You come pre-installed with Christ consciousness. Well, part of the Christ consciousness is, as Jesus says, the kingdom of God is within you. All right. So we come pre-installed with it, right? That means it's a state of mind. It is a state of consciousness that we can learn to create for ourselves.
Surprise!
And once we learn to create it for ourselves, nobody can take it away from us. That's where it becomes a state of grace. And when we learn that state of mind, when we can create that state of mind anywhere, heaven ceases to be a place we have to get to and come any place we are. That's where it becomes a superpower. So in the midst of all, you can create a heavenly state of mind. You can be that island of calm in the midst of the chaos. And when you meet people in their storms, you pull them to your peace rather than getting sucked into their storms. That's what I'm talking about, a superpower. And one of the best ways to create this heavenly mindset is to look for the good and praise it. Jesse used the quote from Emma, because that was an Emma Hopkins quote. He used the one yesterday, that the world will continue to affirm for you what you continue to affirm that it is. All right. So if you think that the world is bad and wrong and, then the world is going to show you that side. But if you think that overall the world is good, people are good, and that the wrong is just people forgetting who they are, that's what the world is going to show you. That's how you can live in heaven. Even in the midst of the material mess. Look for the good and praise it. Because when you look for it, you find more than you noticed at first. And that's part of what Lillian was talking about today. When we start looking for the good, we find far more than we thought. Because we are activating that Christ consciousness. You want to change a grumpy mood, count your blessings, do a random act of kindness, go volunteer. There is science behind that. All right, I'm going to get off my soapbox. Because of all those soapboxes I could choose, love, kindness, and compassion, I'm there. Especially for yourself and others. All right. Social media. We are Creative Life Spiritual Center, Creative Life Spark. I'm the running Rev Ryan on the social medias that I am on. Just wanted to remind you there are hours of content. Please feel free. We try and keep it light, bright, tight, and uplifting and funny. I like funny. So there's always going to be a little funny. What if I have anything to say about it? So just, avail yourself of that. There's also the constant contact email, info@creativelife.org. That'll get you on the constant contact. You get basically one email a week, and the hot links are hot. It says, click here now. It'll take you right to the information you want. Okay. I think I am at the part where I get to encourage you to have a great day, a wondrous day, a fantastic day, a magical day, an enchanted day, a wonder-filled day, an awesome day, an amazing day, an anniversary day, a Christ consciousness day, a heavenly day, a get stuff done day, a new beginnings day, a finisher day, a ask yourself the questions day, a experience the good day, a good day. And if that is too much pressure, simply have a day. You are enough just as you are. You are a beloved child of God, in whom God is well pleased and well represented. You are a brilliant light. You are a divine spark. You are spirit in motion. You are God in action. You are a godling. That's what Reverend Jesse likes to call us. You are a godling. Think about that and think about what it means. All right? The fullness of God is present at every point in its creation all the time. That includes you. Okay. All right. As I lose track of where I am in this situation, Reverend David should be on around 5 p.m. with you. I will be back with you around 9 a.m. tomorrow. Take care of yourself. Know that you are loved, and I will see you next time.